What is up? What is up, guys? Edgar here, Guns for Everyone. Doing this a little bit solo for about 20-ish, 30 minutes, something like that. Isaac will not be here. I'm trying to get a refocus on my camera. Yeah, Isaac's not going to be here. I think he's taking the whole month of June off. June is when he takes, I think, like 17 vacations. He's on vacation number 6 of the month. So for June, I'll probably be doing this. Later on, I'm going to be having a guest. He's going to help me out, and we want to talk about the FFLs, what's going on here in the state of Colorado. We want to have a conversation about the state of 2A here in the state of Colorado from his perspective. So we're going to have Kyle from LT Arms. If you guys don't know about LT Arms, go check it out. LT Arms, I think it's just ltarms.com if you guys want to go check that shit out. But I did want to spend some time just discussing some random stuff that we've got going on here with Guns for Everyone. Again, Isaac's gone, so we don't have any significant topics going on until he comes back. But I wanted to talk about some things, and one of them is the competitions that we have coming up here in the state of Colorado. We Guns for Everyone, GFE National. We have some competitions, and these competitions will qualify you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. These are one of 3 competitions that we host in the state of Colorado. Pretty easy to get to for those of you guys that are interested in the competitions. You just go to our website, and you go to competitions. Concealed Carry Cup is the one. And the next one, again, is June 29th. This one will qualify you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. You can register clicking on that button right here. If you're on smaller screen, you probably can't see that, but it does give you the date, location, all of that stuff. But I did want to have this conversation about how it qualifies you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. There's a little bit of confusion about how it qualifies you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. Why does it qualify you? Do I need to do additional stuff? And can I do any other competition? So I want to spend some time discussing that. If you go to the LexisNexis and you go to 18, you go to 12, and then you go to 2, and then you go to 203. Now, this will qualify you to obtain your concealed handgun permit, but it also will qualify you to renew your permit. So again, I wanted to spend some time chatting that up. So in order to qualify, it's in H, demonstrates competence with the handgun. This is how to qualify criteria for obtaining a permit. In H, demonstrates competence with the handgun. And then starting July 1st, evidence of experience with the firearm through participation in organized shooting competitions. Now, historically, if you look at case law, if you look at the laws organized, isn't it? It has a definition far beyond your Billy Bob's backyard competition. If you read other parts of the law where it talks about school organized competitions and organized sports, there's a definition that gets associated with that. Guns for Everyone's a 501c3. We've been hosting competitions for many years now. Our biggest one is the Gunmakers match. If you guys don't know about the Gunmakers match, go check that out. We have regional competitions. We have national competitions. Obviously, the national one is the one we talk about the most. Every single year, we have a national Gunmakers match. That's for people who privately make firearms and they want to show off their designs and pew with their designs. So create your gun, CAD it, design it, print it, or find a CAD, make your own gun, and then compete with it. This one's the concealed carry cup that we're doing here in the state of Colorado. But again, organized competitions, organized shooting competitions. It doesn't say handgun competition. It doesn't say um, anything to that effect. It says organized shooting competitions. So June 29th, join us over at Empire Gun Club so that we can do the competitions, and again, that will qualify you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. In terms of your renewal, 1812 to 11. This one, the criteria is basically the same. And for renewals, evidence of demonstrating competence with the firearm through participation in organized shooting competitions. So that qualifies you as well. So again, June 29th, we'll be hosting that. We'll be having that this competition. We're going to try and do this monthly. If you own a business and you want to sponsor, that really helps us out. Continue this stuff where we're going to try and host it every single month at Empire Gun Club. We're also looking at Pikes Peak Gun Club for those of you guys that are in Southern Colorado or in the Colorado Springs area. Pikes Peak Gun Club. We might also host them at the GFE Training Ranch down in the county of Pueblo, about 20 minutes south, 30 minutes south, of the city of Pueblo. So we'll be having that as well. Classes. I know some of you guys are here to listen to other stuff, but I did want to talk about how classes are going for those of you guys that are listening to us and are still a little confused about how the classes are going and how we're structuring them starting July 1st. And it's 4 hours in class, 4 hours at the range. Renewals is the 4 hour range portion. It's pretty simple with us. 4 hours on in class, 4 hours at the range. If you're a renewal, that's just the 4 hours at the range. So that's how we are structuring that. That's how we're doing that one. Other things that we've got going on is the lawsuit. We still have the lawsuit going up. So if you guys are unaware, we are suing the state of Colorado. Biggest delay with the lawsuit is finding plaintiffs. This has been probably the most frustrating part of the lawsuit is finding plaintiffs, people who are willing to fight and do what they say they want to do, but actually doing it. We talked about last podcast. I think it was podcast. Talked about this idea of capitalism killing the 2A. We discussed about how it's really not capitalism; it's greed, and you could really tell with this lawsuit. A lot of instructors don't want to do it because that would require them to sacrifice. So they won't do it. So instead of helping us with the lawsuit, they're just gonna do whatever the county says, do whatever the sheriff says, even though it's a lot of the stuff that they're requiring is illegal. We talked about El Paso County. They haven't replied to us, but El Paso County was requiring the instructor verification number to be printed on the certificate. That's not a requirement legally. I know it's a petty thing. It's a small thing, but that's how they get away with bigger shit is you allow them to get away with the small shit. So there's a lot of people, a lot of instructors who are unwilling to fight their sheriff because they think they're going to lose something bad's going to happen. But nothing gets better unless we call them out on their bullshit. There's a lot of students. And this one I understand a little bit more. The other one I understand a little bit. I think it's still horseshit that a lot of people won't sacrifice the way they say they will. Online, they talk about fighting and standing up for the Second Amendment. But when it comes down to it, it's just like, no, it's too inconvenient. The people, the students, were having a difficult time finding students that want to be plaintiffs, mostly because that a lot of it would require them saying, nope, I don't want to go through this process. because it's an infringement on my rights, and a lot of students are unwilling to go without a permit. So that's a struggle. That's a problem. I get it for some people who are being stalked and they need that permit. I mostly understand, but at the same time, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because we hear it all the time from humans. I want to fight. I can't wait till somebody fights. This is going to be awesome when somebody fights. Somebody should sue the state of Colorado, but they're always waiting for somebody else to do it. They're not willing to do it themselves. And I think that's an issue. Is it doesn't matter what other people are doing if you're not doing it. You you got to be part of the fight. So all that to say, if you are interested in becoming a plaintiff, if you're an instructor in the state of Colorado, if you're an instructor outside of the state of Colorado that is suffering from this, right? We I know of at least one instructor who is in Wyoming, who a lot of their business is here in the state of Colorado, in northern Colorado, and they used to be able to teach concealed carry classes, and now they can't. Now they can't because of the new law. So now there's that instructor who's going to help us out with this lawsuit. If you're an instructor that used to do a lot of training here in the state of Colorado, now you can't. Join the lawsuit. Join the lawsuit. Again, there's a lot of opportunity to do some good and help the 2A. It requires a little bit of sacrifice. Outside of that, it doesn't require much. It doesn't require you to pay anything. It doesn't require you. That's what the legal fund is for. Is people helping us with donations so that we don't have to pay out of pocket as the plaintiff. You don't have to pay out of pocket. Guns for Everyone, Isaac. We are paying some of it, but we can't do it all by ourselves. So donations are helping us out. Isaac right now, he donated a Vepr. It's I think a $4,000 rifle that you can win for $5 entry. We did extend that out a little bit because the participation in that legal fund was weak. And again, there we go. A lot of people saying, "Yay, let's do this," but somebody else do it, not me. Call me when we win so I can celebrate with you, but I'm not going to do anything, and that's tough. That's tough. So if you guys can help us out, be a plaintiff, buy an entry, donate, that really helps us out. So that's the other thing that we've got going on, the major stuff that we've got going on. GFEnational.com for that competition. Again, June 29th, that first competition for the Concealed Carry Cup. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be some really good stuff. The idea is, unlike some other competitions who say they're about defensive shooting, this one is going to have a lot more elements of defensive shooting, a lot more cognitive stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what the course of fire is because that's cheating. You won't know what the course of fire is until you show up. But again, it does qualify you to obtain your concealed handgun permit. But also, it's a fun time. Even if you don't need to get your permit, even if you don't need to get renew your permit, that's not all it's for. So it does happen to qualify for your permit, but obviously we want to see everybody there, pew pew guns and compete and win prizes and all that stuff. Right now, it's low level prizes, nothing major, but it's still you can win some prizes. Again, that's going to be June 29th at Empire Gun Club. That information is at gfenational.com. gfenational.com. Let me put that up there for you guys. gfenational.com. Cool. Got that shit out of the way. The title of this podcast, kind of a weird one. I never really know what the title of the podcast are going to be, and a lot of humans like clickbait titles. This one's not meant to really be a clickbait title. It stems from an experience from last night. I did a class yesterday, and one of the some of the people that showed up, there's two ladies that showed up, two white chicks that show up, and there was chairs available, and I I tell them, hey, there's chairs available over here. People will move for you so you guys can sit together. And she's like, nah, we're gonna set up our own chairs. I was like, well, that's fucking typical white fucking person. Um, and they're like, no, that's not it. Like, I got cancer. That's typical cancer patient. We're gonna do whatever the fuck I want. So there's this back and forth between this cancer lady and myself, just talking shit to each other in a fun way, in a happy, this is fucking humorous. Because I said the thing and then she said the other thing. And during the class, as we continued on, somebody had asked about shoot to kill. I heard that you ought to shoot to kill. And if somebody is threatening you outside of your house, you ought to shoot to kill. And that way, the typical stuff, right? That way you don't get sued, and that way people don't come for your boat and all that stuff. And obviously that's not it. That's not a reality. That's not real. That's not a thing. You don't shoot to kill. You shoot. The cheesy cliche, you shoot to stop the threat. Now they might die. They for sure they might die. But my intention, and nor would we ever teach to shoot to kill. I think that's dumb. That makes you the murderer. That makes you the bad guy. That makes you the attacker. Because now, and then you're verbalizing it. You're telling people, I shoot to kill. Ha 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 ha. So we have to always question that motivation. But as we were having this conversation, and I was talking about risk benefit, and because that's also the conversation. Like I have to understand that a lot of humans have super duper small peckers, and because they have small peckers, they need to puff up and they need to say dumb shit like shoot to kill. Um, and they don't care about humans. They don't care. They're okay with killing other human beings. So I've had to learn to change up the way I talk about this. I have zero desire to kill other humans, but people with small dicks want to kill other humans, have a desire to kill other humans and boast about killing other humans, and they're supposed to be the good person. So the conversation is the risk benefit. Cool, got it. You don't care about anybody except yourself. You only care about yourself because you don't know how to live in a society. So you only care about yourself. You don't care about your children. You don't care about your wife. You don't care about your husband. You don't care about your girlfriend. You don't care about any of that stuff. All you care about is killing someone because they made you feel bad. And we're not talking about murdery stuff. We're not talking about like the person had a gun pointed at me. We're talking about the person was stealing the lawnmower. So let's shoot to kill. Let's pull out the gun to shoot to kill. That type of stuff. Somebody has a gun at your kid. You fucking do what the fuck you have to do, right? We're not talking necessarily about that. We're talking about shit that's not self defense. Shoot to kill because feelings. It's my property, and I need it. So even if you don't care about the other human, right? Like you have to consider the risk benefit. Is it worth it for me to die for that stuff? You can go on the Google machine, and Google will fucking spit out a bunch of results of mostly men who decided to defend things and ended up dying trying to defend the things. So now the kid doesn't have a dad, the kid doesn't have a mom, the kid doesn't have grandma, grandpa, whatever it is, because they were defending objects, things, stuff, shit that's insignificant. And I brought up my chemo homie because I had asked her like, what's you going through chemo and all that stuff. We had that conversation. So I asked her that you can, or I asked the class so that you can ask my cancer patient um, how important shit is, how important the stuff is, right? Because the person who's going through chemo could probably tell you 100% that shit doesn't matter. Like maybe you think it matters right now, but it doesn't matter. I'm sitting in an office right now that we're like month to whether or not we're actually gonna fucking make it if we're gonna pay the rent. This month's probably been the worst month, so we may not have the spot next month, and it's stressful. It sucks. It makes me feel like shit. It makes me feel insignificant. I'm already a fucking insecure human being. My kids don't like talking to me, all that shit. And then on top of that, you pile up. I can't fucking pay the rent here because donations suck and because the economy sucks or whatever. And then like you get the cancer patient, you're like, yeah, that shit doesn't it sucks, but it doesn't matter. Somebody's stealing your car, like it sucks, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Um, so that's that's why the title of this is Chemo Kid. At the end of the class, she donated, and in the description of the donation or the note for the description, she put on there Chemo Kid, because the other conversation we had was home defense stuff, but that was the biggest thing is we as gun people need to realize that in 2025 a lot of our natural desires, um, a lot of who we are DNA wise, and I don't know who you believe in, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, the universe, stones, whatever the fuck it is you believe in. Um, they made us to be a certain way, and living in this electricity was not one of them. We didn't have the electricity, we didn't have the cars, we didn't have the AC, we didn't have the heater, we didn't have any of that shit. Um, so there's still a lot of that DNA in us. I get it, I understand, but we're at a point where we have to overcome that. I have a daughter who's got CP. She almost died when she was born, and I remember um, back then having this conversation a lot with students. Just like I didn't bury my kid. I got pretty close to having to bury my kid, and I can assure you that what you think is important is not really that fucking important. We always have to balance that out. So yeah, the Chemo Kid kind of made me think about, well, fuck, Isaac's not going to be here. This could maybe have a conversation, start something up. She did ended up on a bummer. My Chemo Kid, she ended on a bummer. She's got stage 4. She ain't gonna make it. But even then, it was just like, nah, I'm gonna die. It wasn't like, oh, super sad. It sucked for me because I heard it. I was like, oh, she's probably done, and she's here in the gun class. Afterwards, I'm like, fuck, I should have asked her what the fuck she's doing at a gun class if she's gonna die anyways. And it's one of these things that you think about afterwards. um and she was that type of human where she was just like she probably would have said something smart back. But she's stage 4, she's gonna die. She's accepted it, and I think that's the the message conversation. I don't even know if it fucking makes sense. My thoughts are always super unorganized, and I love it. But it's true. You get humans like that every once in a while that remind you that what you think is stressful, super important, it's really not. It's really not. Is it worth dying for? Is it worth not even is it worth killing for, right? Because some of you guys don't give a fuck about the other person. But is it worth dying for? Is it really worth losing your life? Is it really worth your kids losing their parent, their brother, their cousin, whatever the case may be? So, um, at any rate, I see our special guest waiting in the wings. So I'm going to bring him in so we can start having this discussion for a little bit. This is going to be a short podcast. So hopefully you guys can stick around for the entire thing. It's going to be a different tune because Isaac's not here. Again, I'm positive he's going to be taking the whole month of June off. It's summertime for white people. You guys take so many fucking vacations, man. It's fucking crazy. I don't know how you guys make money. No fucking clue how you guys make money, but Let me bring in Kyle. Um, Kyle,
Hey there, sir. How are you?
you're doing good, man. How you doing?
Just living the dream. You know, us white people need vacations.
So many vacations, so many fucking vacations. Yeah, vacations after the vacations.
Yeah, I know. I just got back from machine gun shooting. I feel like I need a vacation
A
from
vacation from that? Yeah,
it.
yeah, but that wasn't a vacation. That's business. That's
Yeah.
going to events like that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to admit it if you don't want to, but going to like SHOT Show, going to I mean, at the moment it's fun, but like loading your gear up,
Yeah.
sending it there, loading it back up, bringing it back, fucking tents, tables. That shit gets rough. That shit gets rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but at any rate, I wanted to, and you were honest with me. You told me I don't know what I can say or how I can help out, but I appreciate your time. And you're only one FFL out of what is it, like 3,000 in the state of Colorado, some shit like that.
Yeah. Pretty
Uh,
close to that.
it's a pretty crazy amount of FFLs in the state of Colorado, all things considered. So I wanted to have a chat with you about what's going on with FFLs. Uh, what changed for you guys? What kind of changes do you guys see? What does the trends looking like? All of that shit. You guys just had a course that you guys had to take and a test and through the Department of Revenue.
Yeah, and I don't know if you looked at that course or anything and watched that video, but I mean, it was 15 minutes of just pure joke. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, as some of yeah, it's just, and then the test is a laughing stock. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty much if you talk about anything negative, you can't buy a gun. So that's yeah. I mean, it's
Oh, so if the buyer is talking about anything negative,
yeah. So it's kind of like a training on how to spot straw purchases and red flags, stuff like that. As
which is
far as
impossible.
yeah, that's I mean, yeah, that's if
Like
they're
that,
doing it right, you're not gonna know.
like it is virtually impossible. This is my issue because I have a lot of conversations with people in public health. I'm part of the FIPI and then the Firearm Safety Coalition, and then there's a new um, board that I'm going to join that's out of Penn State, and that's the conversation. Is there really a way to know if somebody is a bad actor? Every once in a while, it's like, okay, this person is drunk or whatever or impaired, and like that's easy. But even that is just that doesn't say they're going to be bad.
Yeah,
Um, it's really difficult to find who's gonna do bad things because the only thing if you study it, if there's plenty of studies, the only big tell about somebody being a criminal is previous violence. So like if somebody's gonna be a violent human, the only way you could really tell is previous violence. But if there was no previous violence or they didn't get caught, like it's tough. So now you have to do the job of psychiatrist.
yeah,
Uh
yeah, and it kind of touched on some leading questions to ask and stuff like that. And then one of my favorite ones is the state wants us to try and you know track the people's occupations, and that's I thought that was the biggest joke. I don't know if that's actually going through or not, but there was mention about where we were supposed to be keeping track of people's occupation when they buy a gun.
Yeah, but that's not on the form, right? That was a separate form that they wanted you to fill out.
Yeah, that was a separate form and all that, but I mean, it just the overreach that they're wanting us to do is ridiculous.
Oh, but you haven't heard anything officially if they're going to ask you to.
No, not officially yet. So,
Yeah, because
but
all of these rules already came into effect, right? All of the licensing and all that stuff.
cor- correct, yeah, yeah.
What was that? The beginning of this month?
Yeah, so July 1st is when it actually takes effect.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we have from and this week is when we find the FFLs finally got the okay to get your fingerprints. So they said that we had to get our fingerprints done for all of our employees, and then they finally gave us the information to actually do that this week. So now we have 3 weeks to get our fingerprints in.
That's crazy.
So
So no time really to get your
yeah,
fingerprints in, and
yeah,
this is for all of your employees because they have
correct.
to go through background checks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that shit's crazy. That shit's bonkers. And that obviously costs a shit ton of money.
yeah.
Because you now have to get an FFL. Um, that's what $250 if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. And then now the state, how much does that cost?
So the state's a $400 fee a year.
Jeez, a year.
Uh, a year or 3 years, I can't
Oh,
remember.
okay. Every time you renew, it's $400,
Yeah,
and then your FFL is $250 every time you renew.
yeah,
But then you have SOTs.
yeah. So yeah, the
Does the state deal with that in any way, shape, or form, or it's the same regardless?
it's the same regardless. So one of the nice things is the state did come out and say if you're not doing any retail sales, then you don't have to get the state certification. So if you're just doing gunsmithing or stuff along those lines where you're not actually selling firearms to the general public, then you don't have to get the state license.
Yeah, there's a lot of home FFLs
Mm-hmm.
that went to that. That
Yeah,
is basically no, I'm just going to do the transfers.
yeah,
I'm not going to sell to the general public. I'm not going to sell anything because they don't want to deal with any of that shit.
yeah. So, but
Uh,
also, I mean, I do see. I mean, I feel like they were trying to take out a lot of the tabletop FFLs
for
by
sure,
passing this bill.
for sure, for sure. I mean, they see a lot of that, and they see, especially at gun shows, a lot of people only do gun show sales. That's going to change too, right? There's that FFL bill that passed. So gun show is going to be a little bit different. I'll Isaac and I, when he comes back from his 79th vacation, we'll probably talk about that law. But
Yeah,
um, how is SB 25003 affecting you guys? I know we're still a year out, August
yeah,
of next year, but I asked and I wanted you guys, and Isaac actually recommended to have somebody that can talk about this. So I'm seeing a lot of FFLs posting, "Hey, people, the law doesn't start till next year."
yeah.
So that got me to thinking that you guys are probably not doing as awesome as you guys probably thought you guys were going to do. I don't know if I'm wrong, but
Well, and that's so. I From what we've seen in our shop is everyone did a huge mad dash to get their stuff before it, and now everyone thinks it's passing the law, and so they call us and ask us how they can take this class so that they can buy ARs and everything. And so we try to just tell them, hey, you have another year before you actually have to take that class. But
correct. So
so
you guys seen a small little spike?
yeah, there. I mean, there was a big spike there for a month,
Okay.
and now everything's kind of just died off in the last 2 months.
Yeah. So
So
the spike came maybe a little bit aggressive.
yeah,
So that's awesome. Yay. But
yeah,
now it's like fucking
yeah, it's tanked. So
or post pandemic
yeah, yeah,
because that was shitty.
yeah, it
Post
was.
post pandemic, like 21, 22,
Yeah,
uh 2021, 2022, like that was fucking shit.
yeah,
Last year wasn't that awesome for guns,
yeah,
nationwide, period. The industry, if you guys go look it up, there's a bunch of major gun manufacturers that went out of business. Some were shitty and probably should be gone anyways, but some were pretty shocking, even though they were shitty. SCCY went out of business. There's a few other ones that if you guys go online and check them out, AR manufacturers that went out of business. It was quite a bit, quite a bit, just because last year kind of sucked balls. So, what do you guys? I know you can only speak for your shop, um, but what's the move? What's the adaptation? What's the how do we? Because a lot of people don't know. Like you, I think you have your shit together a little bit, and you have, I think, a benefit that you own another business, so you kind of know business, uh, and respectfully, probably more than guns.
Yeah.
Is you're probably more a business person than you are a gun person. And I don't mean that as a knock. I mean that as just from what I've seen. So, what's the adaptation? What are you guys doing to?
Yeah, so I mean, so for us, it's kind of interesting because I mean, it attacked manufacturing. So being a Type 7 FFL gunsmith, all that, it kind of limits and hamstrings some of the aspects that we can do as far as that. So we can't put ARs together for people. I mean, we used to offer an AR build class and everything. That's going to be dead now. So that's one of the hard things.
Oh, because nobody can manufacture their own firearms.
Correct. Yep.
I can't build my own AR anymore.
No.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
think that yeah, because yeah, the law says that it's can't manufacture
yeah.
firearms in the
So
state unless you're going to sell it to somebody that's
out
out
of
of
state.
state.
Yeah.
And then you guys are kind of tied to the point where, y- I mean, yeah, you guys are fucked on that side of it.
Yeah.
Um, how does that affect gunsmithing though overall? Because you can
I
still do
mean,
the other stuff, right?
yeah. So I'm yeah, we can still fix them and repair them, but you get into that gray area. You know, if you're replacing a barrel or stuff like that. I mean, are you in that manufacturing? Are you just replacing a part? I mean, it's kind of that gray area. They have, I mean, the Department of Revenue has no clue what they're doing or anything about guns. And so they could easily say, hey, you're manufacturing because you just replaced the barrel.
Are they the ones that are going to be in charge of all of this stuff? The Department of Revenue?
Yeah, so I mean, you may know better than me, but to my knowledge, I mean, they got deputized and
They
everything.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe they are the ones going to be enforcing all this stuff.
Yeah, correct. No, yeah, you're right. They did end up getting here in the state of Colorado. They ended up getting, um, I think they only had two at the moment,
Yeah,
that I remember. They only got approved for two. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, there are certain humans that will now be cops for the Department of Revenue, specifically for FFLs. I
yeah,
think there's other areas as well, but it's specific, which is weird because the marijuana thing is under the Department of Revenue, and I don't think they. I know they had agents, but they weren't like law enforcement agents. I know they had marijuana things. I could be wrong about that because I'm not a marijuana person. Um, but yeah, it's rough. I'm bringing up the law right now just so we can kind of read it. Um, I don't know if you guys can read this. I know in a tiny screen, most of you guys are reading this on your cell phone. But it says on or after August 1st, 2026, it is unlawful for any person to knowingly manufacture, distribute, transfer, sell, or purchase a specified semi-automatic firearm, except that a person may sell, transfer specified semi-automatic firearms to an individual residing in another state or federally licensed firearm dealer. Um, yeah, which puts you guys in a weird position
yeah.
for that manufacturer. The manufacturer for transfer, sell, specify automatic, purchase, specify, and there's no exception for FFLs, huh?
Nope, none. The only caveat or the only exception was a school in Trinidad. That
The
was the
school.
only one.
I think they added the School of Trades as well.
Oh, they did?
Uh,
Okay.
I think an instructor, yeah, the manufacturer for transfer, sale specified, members of armed services. Yeah, there's no. Um, a federally firearms licensed dealer for temporary storage or permanent disposal. So that's fucked.
Yeah.
That's super fucked.
But yeah, and then to answer kind of Brian's question there, even a civilian, your average person can't buy a lower and put it together. It's still illegal for them to do that. So
Correct. And we still have to figure out what's going to happen with the lawsuits and all that stuff. We always have to be careful with the Reddit attorneys, right? Because
yeah,
everybody on Reddit is a fucking attorney. But it very clearly says here it is unlawful for any person to knowingly manufacture, distribute, transfer, sell. So now the tricky thing is, what is manufacture? Did they describe that? I think they they must have.
yeah. I mean, to the part that I was reading and everything, it's even assembling the parts you're manufacturing. It's vague enough to where even if you switch out
Correct.
the upper, that's manufacturing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. It's the manufacturing is not really defined here because it defines what cycle the action, detachable magazine, gas operated, long stroke, short stroke, hybrid, blowback specified. Yeah, there's nothing on here on what manufacturer means, which could be as simple as just assembling the
Yeah,
fucking AR. And that's the problem. I guess you could take it the other way. You're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna assemble this and do it until they tell me not to, and
yeah,
then we can fight it that way. But um, then that's potential fines, jail, um, and all that shit.
yeah,
Like it's worth it for me. Like I might do it just for fucking kicks.
yeah,
Because now we have a definition. I think this is what a lot of people don't understand is we will never have a definition until somebody gets in trouble and then
yeah,
fights it, and then we're like, now we know what it manufacturing actually means.
yeah.
But
Well,
in
on that,
go ahead.
yeah, I mean that goes along with kind of, I don't know if you're following anything with that FRT trigger. I mean, they finally came out with a definitive definition.
Correct.
So
I didn't read what the definition was. Who was it?
so I mean they just
Oh
up
yeah, yeah,
the actual definition
yeah.
that
The
it
the
was.
manufacturing company um did a podcast, and I haven't checked it out myself. I thought maybe you knew, but yeah,
Yeah.
we now have a definition, but a fucking business went under. That company basically took a nosedive financially in order
Yeah.
for that to happen. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, what other things? So, sales are down. I seen somebody post on I forget where it was. He was an FFL. He posted on Facebook, I believe, on Rally for Our Rights or Rally for Your Rights, for Rally for Our Rights, whatever. And I think there was 5 people. This was like 2 weeks ago. I think in the queue there was 5 people, which means that 5 humans were trying to buy guns in the entire state of Colorado. Is that kind of where it's at right now?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I can pull
Oh,
it up. And,
you're gonna look it up live?
yeah, I'll look it up live.
Fuck yeah! This is at 5:43 p.m. on a Thursday. Um, we'll see how many people are trying to buy guns in the entire state of Colorado at this very moment. They're in the queue. They're being processed at the moment. Now, remember, we have a 3-day waiting period too, minimum. Um, it doesn't take them that long to go through the background check, but
So, yeah, as of right now, waiting in the queue, we are. Oh, come on. Ah, my guys changed my password.
uh
That's
oh. That's funny when they change the password on the owner. Uh, that shit's
there
hilarious.
we go. So there are 96
Oh,
applications right.
okay, okay, okay. That makes me feel a little bit better. But it's still 96 in the entire state of fucking Colorado.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's.
the,
I
the,
mean,
this is a population of 4-ish million people. I think it's 4 or 5 million, something like that, in the entire state
yeah,
of Colorado. So the fact that there's only 90 humans trying to buy guns currently right now, because you think about it, it's Cabela's, it's you, it's Shields, It's what's the other big ones? Bass Pro Shop,
Sportsman's.
Sportsman's Warehouse. That's just mentioning the big ones, right? You're not mentioning all the small popular places, um, quote unquote, your competition.
Yeah.
Um, 96 in the entire fucking state of Colorado. Uh, that shit's weird. That shit is super fucking weird. Um, since I got you here, oh, another thing, the 3 day waiting period. How does that work on your end?
It's a nightmare because I mean we have to store all those guns for those three
Yeah,
days, and I mean
but
that's
the application technically comes back before the 3 days,
yeah, comes back instantly.
almost instantly. You just
Yeah,
have to hold it
yeah,
for
because I
3 days.
mean yeah, wait time right now is an hour. So we submit the paperwork and we know if you pass or fail within an hour.
So that
But we
hasn't changed. That's the
yeah,
same.
yeah. So
So the CBI is still processing shit really fucking quick.
yeah,
It is you as the FFL that just has to hold it for a minimum of 3 days.
yeah. And
Uh,
that's and people still come in and they don't actually realize that law is enacted, and so they're all upset that they can't leave with the gun. And it's like, we told you before we started this that it's a 3-day wait.
yeah,
And then people get all mad and say, well, and this is the typical thing, my Second Amendment right and all that. Well, call your congressman.
yeah.
It's like, I'm not going
You
to
should have.
jail for you.
Yeah, you should have showed up to the committee hearings. You should have fought it there.
Yeah,
Yeah, why fight the store owner on that shit? Like you should have showed up the day of.
yeah,
There's plenty of opportunities to go fight. There was plenty of opportunities to go
yeah,
write the letters.
yeah,
Shit, there still is opportunity to sue. I mean, you can hire an attorney and you can sue. Like if it's this is what I was talking about earlier. Those people want other people to do it. Somebody else should do it. Um,
Well, and I've talked a lot of times about people, and I've even done rants that made people mad, that people aren't willing to put up with inconvenience.
yeah,
It's the slightest hindrance of inconvenience, and they fold.
they fold quick, super quick. And it's tough. It's tough to be in the position where like I'm willing to fight if you want to fight, but it's kind of tough to fight alone.
Yeah,
It's super tough to fight alone. So yeah, for sure. I do want to take the opportunity since I've got you here and since you took the time to tell the humans about the services that you guys do offer and understand humans that here in the state of Colorado, this law SB 25003 does not come into effect until August. Um, we'll have another podcast talking about how um, you can legally not follow the law, if that makes sense. Because there are creative ways where you can still get the things without having to take the class, and at some point we'll talk about that shit. But I want to give you the opportunity to say things about your shop, where you guys are at. You guys just recently moved. What kind of gunsmithing services you guys offer, all of that shit.
yeah, definitely. So, like you said, we did just recently move, and that was one of the things that Colorado was trying to kill us. Uh, how I mean, if you'd been in our shop before, it was a nice open layout. We like people being able to handle things and see what they like. Now all the firearms have to be locked up, even during business hours, so they can't be readily accessible for people to handle. And then ammo has to be locked up, and so because of all that, we couldn't do it in our previous location, so we had to move locations. Thankfully, it was just right across the street, so we're not too far. Uh, but yeah, as far as that, we offer full gunsmith services, anything from restoration to complete new builds. Uh, Name it. As far as restoring a firearm, we can do it.
Yeah. And you guys have everything pretty much. You guys have lathes.
Yep, we
Uh,
have lathes, mills, all that. We can do case hardening, bluing, everything like that. I mean, I'm not gonna brag about my guys too much, but I would say we could give Doug Turnbull a run for his money. So.
I don't know who that is, but uh,
Well, like how you like to say it is, we'll Gucci the crap out of your
oh,
stuff.
we'll get you the shit. Yeah, 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 yeah. Fucking tack to douche the guns.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Um, you guys make barrels?
So it's cheaper for us to outsource barrels,
Oh,
but
okay.
we will chamber the barrels and everything and put them on. But as far as running your twist rate and everything, it's cheaper for another company to do that.
But you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody's willing to pay the money.
Yeah, if someone's willing to pay the money, we'll make whatever stupid twist rate you want. But yeah, all your standard ones are out there readily available, so we can bring them in. We'll chamber it for whatever cartridge you want and fit it to your preferred action.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. LT Arms. This is Kyle. He's the owner. Go check them out. Where are you guys at?
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, our address is 8130 Schaefer Parkway, Littleton, Colorado,
so you guys are in the King
80127.
Carroll area.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So if you guys are around in the Littleton area, King Carroll area, if you guys want to take a trip, there, really you take the King Carroll exit, and
Yeah.
then you go east to Schaefer, and then Schaefer head south,
Yeah.
and then you at some point you'll see the moose. Is it a moose or an elk?
It's an elk.
Is
Yep.
an elk.
Yeah.
You'll see it on the east side of Schaefer. Big fucking thing on the window, and you can actually see your windows now from
Yeah.
both directions, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So if you guys want to take a trip, a lot of good gunsmithing stuff, a lot of guns that you can buy, rifle shit, hunting stuff, a lot of hunting stuff. You guys sell silver and gold as well?
Yeah, we have silver and gold as well, coins. We have a guy that can help you appraise our big thing is estate sales. So,
Yeah.
dad passes away and no one has any clue what anything's worth. We can help you appraise all that.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet. And then all the modern stuff, all the traditional stuff, concealed carry stuff.
Correct.
You guys do concealed carry classes as well. Um, so
And then that was a joke getting signed up with Jeffco on that one. That
oh, that
was
that was that was batshit crazy. You guys and Bristlecone had a pretty difficult time. Basically, Bristlecone, I'm sorry, Jeffco, not Bristlecone. Jeffco was they didn't know what the fuck they were doing,
no, they
like
didn't.
like at all. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing, how they were doing it, why they were doing it. They probably still don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well,
It's
it was last week. She, the lady in charge, the lady I've been dealing with. I don't know if
yeah.
she's in charge of the whole thing or not, but she emailed me last week and was finally getting all the final paperwork from me. I was like, "This is
But you're
already in
already
effect."
no, but weren't you already verified?
Yeah, I was already verified like 2 months ago. So
And she was barely getting paperwork.
yeah, so she needed my address and all that information and everything to put on the website. I was like, I'm pretty sure I gave you this one.
Yeah,
I
when you
got
applied,
verified.
yeah. What happened to the application?
Yeah.
Because it's all in the application, right?
Yep.
That's crazy. That's government for you.
Yep.
Good old fucking government for you. But anyways, short podcast today. Appreciate you, dude. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody listening in and taking the opportunity. Again, just a really basic one. We want to be consistent. One of the things that Isaac and I are fucking horrible at is being consistent. Me because I fucking hate life, and then Isaac because he's always on vacation. We're fucking super inconsistent with this shit. So I appreciate you guys trying to be consistent with this stuff. So we'll see you guys in, I think 2 weeks. 2 weeks we'll see you guys. I myself have videos that I'm doing as consistent as I possibly can. As I take my walks, I just talk about random shit. So check those videos out. Super fucking pointless to make the videos if nobody watches them and shares them. You guys have your own YouTube channel, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Something that I'm working on pumping out, and this has to do with FFLs, is the gunshopping.tv. I want to provide a platform for FFLs to promote their stuff, go live, do all that stuff without the fear of getting banned and zucked and all that shit. So I've created gunshopping.tv. It's been a pain in the ass trying to get people to upload videos and promote their stuff and shit like that. But we have some LT videos on there, and a few other ones. Go check that shit out. There's not much there right now, but the content will come up. But what's your guys' YouTube channel? Just LT Arms?
Yeah, just LT Arms. If you look on there, we have a bunch of vintage firearms and all that. That's kind of our big thing that we
Yeah.
do on that channel. So
Sweet. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate you